Welcome back to the Chili Prepper Garden where it's September 3rd and we're counting down the days to our first frost date. And trust me, I don't want to hear the doom and gloom either, but we have to face reality. And what are we gonna do when it gets too cold to garden outside? Whether it be making a salad for yourself, or if you have chickens like I do, how are you gonna keep feeding them greens? We need to start thinking about that now, and there's many different ways you can do it, and unfortunately most of them cost money, but it can be done. So today I'm going to show you the 3 ways I use other than trying to grow cold weather crops outside. How am I going to supply the greens for salads for the wife and I, and for all those chickens out there that are pumping out the eggs like crazy, because we want to keep all their nutrition up to and their sense of normalcy. The more fresh you can give them, the better the eggs are going to taste. Let's face the facts. Most of us don't live in an area where you can full garden all year long. I know there's a few people that watch this channel that are that lucky, and I'm jealous. But the rest of us are stuck dealing with the cold weather. And here in Western Colorado, it gets real cold. So the indoor is the optimal choice if you can do it. Since we're outside, the first method I want to cover is just plain and simple. You got to get yourself a grow light. We'll go over a couple options when we go in the house, but you can do what we've talked about many times before. We haven't talked about it in the context of growing in the wintertime, but these 4-inch seed cells that come in a flat, all you got to do is order some sheets. I get these from Greenhouse Mega Store. You can see right there. And it's really simple. Get yourself, a $18, $20 bag of Pro Mix. Fill these up, throw it inside here. You don't have to worry about dripping in the house. Get yourself a grow light. You can plant all your greens, your lettuce, your kale, your spinach, your Swiss chard, all that kind of stuff you can put in here. Now it's not going to get as big as it can obviously get out here, but let me show you. These are some leftover brassicas that I haven't put in the ground yet, and guess what? They're all in those 4-inch seed cells. So you can grow some rather large plants in these 4-inch seed cells. And when you look at how many seed cells there are, you can actually get quite a bit on your greens. The easiest way I've found is simply just to get you a grow light, get you your seed cells, put them under there, and as long as you're not growing any kind of flowering vegetables, tomatoes, peppers, things like that, any normal grow light is going to work, especially when you're just growing all your leafy greens. This is just a mudroom area of the house that I took over when we bought this house, and it's worked. Too many people think that you have to have some huge elaborate grow tent and some super expensive light just to grow anything, and that's simply not the case. You can find yourself a little corner section of a room that you don't use much, a spare bedroom, anything you can think of, and set yourself up a grow light and throw some greens under it, and it's gonna work. Now the cool thing about this counter is it's plenty big enough if I want to turn them this way, and I can feasibly put 2 side by side, and I may, because I always end up doing more than what I should. Ideally, with the shape of the light, that would work best. And that's 18 plants. I mean, with the way they're set up in rows, you could do 6 lettuce, 6 kale, and 6 Swiss chard, and I could just keep on feeding my chickens off of it. Then, if you have an Echo Dot or the Amazon Alexa, like everyone else does out there, you can get you one of these little Wise plugins. Then you can go in the app and you can set it to turn on and turn off automatically, and you don't ever even have to mess with it. And then you get to be cool and say, Alexa, turn off the grow light. Now, before anybody goes yelling at me in the comments about how expensive everything is, let's talk about that. You don't have to go super expensive on a grow light. I've still got a bunch of these laying around that I bought on Amazon years ago, and this one is from a company called Enfun, E-N-F-U-N, and look at this. They're flat little panels, and they just have their little LED driver on top. Are they the greatest in the world? No. Will they get the job done? Absolutely. I've grown a ton with these. Now I gotta be honest with you. In a humid environment, especially if you're using a grow tent, that kind of thing, you're probably only going to get 2, maybe 3 years out of most of these. They're not bad at all. In a dry environment, I typically don't have any issues. But right here, up here on the driver, where it plugs in, gets corroded really bad if you're running high humidity in a tent or something like that. But you can get 2 packs of these on Amazon. Back when I bought them, I think they were 30 bucks for 2 of them. So 15 bucks a piece for 2 very bright LED grow lights. They aren't dimmable. They aren't fancy. They do have different color LEDs in here, and it's gonna grow exactly what you need. 2 side by side in that room that I just showed you will do absolutely just fine, and it was 30 bucks. And that's just an example. There are many other lights on the market. Go scroll through Amazon under grow lights and you'll find very inexpensive grow lights that will last you years. Now, I bought those, I don't even know, I bought those like 5 years ago, and some of them still work. Actually, I just gave one to my son to go in. He bought one of those little Miracle Grow tents to grow mushrooms in, and it still works just fine. Also, containers. You don't have to run out there and buy the sheets of containers. I'm about to do a video on the way that I'm starting the peach seeds, and I just had these laying around. It could be anything. You could use solo cups. The possibilities are endless. So anybody out there who starts complaining about what it costs, okay, maybe it's not for you, because if you really wanted to do it, you'd find a way to do it. Hell, take a look at what I still have. I've told most of you how I got into gardening many, many years ago. And I bought these T5, it was way before LED lights got big. Back then it was high pressure sodium and nickel metal halide. And then the T5 compact fluorescence came out. And I used to run all my vegetative state off of 2 of these in an outdoor shed, and I would have little plants everywhere running on these, and I still have them, and they still work. All I'm saying is, if it's something you want to do, you'll find a way to do it. Lights are super inexpensive. You've got containers if you've already been gardening. Pick yourself up a little bag of soil. If you're like me, you've got it laying around still anyway. Do your mixture like I've talked about in other videos and get to growing. In my little area, you'll be surprised how much I can grow in there that I'm going to feed the chickens this year. Now let's take a look at my second method, and you'll probably laugh, but it works. You've probably seen these around everywhere. And I know they're kind of funny, but I'm telling you they work. This is one of the AeroGardens. I think this one is the Harvest 360 if I remember right. And I think my wife bought me this years back, and I actually love this thing. I know that they're not cheap if you buy them on Amazon or anything like that, but go on Facebook Marketplace. Someone is always selling one of these. I'm telling you they work and they grow a lot of food, but let me show you what I really like about it. So if you order this specific one, and they have a ton of them now, this one only comes with 6 different pod sites. You can still grow quite a bit of greens in 6. What I do like about the 6 cells, if you look right here, you could probably see, let's see if we can get you in close. The pump that's in there actually pushes the water into this, and it flows and pours right on your medium. You also have this cool little access door to be able to put your nutrients and fill with water. And it's actually got quite a few LEDs for light. And the cool part about the light setup, if you flip the little switch in the back, it's adjustable, and you can take it up decently high for what this little guy is. Take a look. You can actually raise it up way above the plants. Then when it's not winter time and you're not growing your different leafy greens, plop this out. Now, I just pulled this out of the garage. I haven't cleaned it up from early season. Order you one of these, plop that in, and it's a great seed starter. As a seed starter, it's got, I think, 23, I'll have to count them, 23 different spots for seeds. If you're starting seeds for hydroponic or aeroponic, it's perfect, but it is really easy to start your seeds in a system like this where you don't have to water them. You don't have to worry about root rot like you do in soil. And then you just pull the plug and stick it in soil and it'll transition just fine. And just to show you the lights, they do have the multicolor LEDs. I don't have the tube hooked up, but you can see how it runs and how it circulates the water around the roots. And it's actually just as easy as setting up, answering the questions that it has, and it'll turn your lights on and off for you. Basically, you're telling it if it's a flowering plant or if it's not. It'll also pop up with this green light and tell you when to add your nutrients. You add it, you touch it, and it'll come on the next time. You can manually turn the light on and off too. And then my plan's going to be simple. I'm going to run it right there in the back corner. So the two lights will actually work together and give plenty of light for all the different leafy greens that I want to grow in the wintertime. And I'm 100% not trying to sell you one of those things, but I can go on my Facebook Marketplace right now, and I know there's a brand new one in box. The bigger one, I think that one's the Harvest 360, but then they have like a Harvest that's like bigger. I think they're asking $40 for, and it's Facebook Marketplace, so you know. After you go through the, hello, is it still available? Yeah, it's still available. Are you still interested? And then you offer $1.50. Then we all know how that goes, but you could probably get it a little bit cheaper is what I was going to with that. And then you may have guessed my last method that I'm going to share with you today, because I just did a couple videos about it. And by far, it actually is probably your best option if you can afford it or one like it. There's many companies that do these. And that is the Tower Garden. If you can swing it, this is a great way to go. And I know there's one by Garden, I think it's Jardyn or Jardyn. I know Vigo has a couple. They're all similar. They have different gimmicks on how they do the things. And by all means, I think they all work. I just really do like the Tower Garden. I love how sturdy it is. I love how everything's built in. I love the light setup, which I actually have two that are stretched out above me. Check it out. And I use those for lighting when I'm in the kitchen. But that's how it would normally look. And if you go back and check, I just did the video where I set this up and seeded it. And already we've got 4 lettuce in this row, 4 lettuce in this row, and 4 spinach in this row. Then I stagger it, and the 2 that are down below, I'm going to put in now 2 weeks behind. So you don't end up with you still end up with too much. And again, don't be afraid to check Facebook Marketplace. I told you the story about my outdoor one that actually is the home kit, and it came with the lights and everything, just like this one did, for $100 on Facebook Marketplace. Most people want too much, but if you really watch, you'll see $200-300 ones. I got really lucky with the $100 one. But if you can swing it, you can't go wrong with one of those units. They're definitely the way to go, and they're going to last you a lifetime. And they produce so much, especially in your leafy greens. You can definitely grow all your other things in it too, but where it really strives, in my opinion, is your leafy greens. Now I know there's probably hundreds of ways that you can grow inside, and we can get into all the different hydroponic options and the different lights and that kind of stuff. And I do, like I said, I've got the tent in the garage. It's a detached garage, it's not heated, but your cold vegetables really like growing in there anyway. But do me a favor, if you've got an option that you use and that's worked for you in the past, leave me a comment down below so everybody can see and we can all give it a shot. And if anything I said on here does it for you, really caught your attention, if you would make sure you like, and if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. It helps me out a ton, and I'm really trying to grow this channel, but I can't do it without you. I want to grow a community where we can all grow together, we can ask questions, and we can have friends on the other end of this screen that's also helping us succeed. Now I know there's countless ways that you can grow indoor, so do me a favor, if you have a way that works for you or that you've done it in the past that worked really well, leave it down in the comments to where everybody who watches this channel, including myself, can get some more really cool ideas, because that's the fun part about creating a community on this channel. Always remember, you don't have to be a prepper to be prepared, and I will see you on the next one.